Hi friends, welcome to today's lower body workout. So we're going to start with a short warm up first, and then we're going to move on to our conditioning exercises or the conditioning part of our workout. All you're going to need today is access to a chair. You won't be needing it for the warm up, but once we get to the conditioning exercises, we will be needing that one. But let's get into it. We're going to begin our workout today on our back. So lying down on your back, just going to make sure our feet are in just where we can reach our fingertips. From here, I just want you to arch your back as much as you can. So there's a massive gap between your back and the floor. And then we're going to tuck that tailbone all the way around till you can't fit your fingers between your back and the floor. Then again, we're going to arch it as far away as we can. And then take a big exhale as we press that spine down into the floor. Just a few more of these, just loosening up the spine and just slowly getting our pelvis into the right position. Then from there, I want you to just bring your spine halfway between that really arched position and that really flat position. This is our neutral spine, and this is where we're going to begin our exercises from today from. From here, we're going to come up into a glute bridge. So I want you to tuck your tailbone all the way up to the top, squeezing your glutes, and then returning back down to the center. Have to be in just where we can reach our fingers. And we've got to keep an eye on this because it's to slide away. Now the goal here is to feel this one in your booty. So we're warming up those glutes. And to do this, I'm really trying to over exaggerate that tuck. So really pressing that lower back into the floor, squeezing the hips up, and then rolling back down. Now I want you to imagine your favorite flavor of ice cream, and we're just trying to scoop it all the way up before rolling and returning back down to the center. Just a few more seconds, and then I'm going to get you to hold. So our next glute bridge, we're going to hold it up. So big tuck, hold, and then just make sure that you've literally got no arch through your lower back as we hold these hips up. So I don't want to see that. We got to keep that pelvis tucked around. From here, I'm also focusing on my knees opening out over my little toes, so they're not caved in towards each other. Keeping those knees nice and open. Press hard down through your heels, the heels of your feet, to help you keep pushing those hips up to the roof. Now I'm not just squeezing my booty here, I'm also thinking about activating my core, so keeping my tummy muscle tucked in to help keep that nice tucked pelvis position. I'm going to keep holding up for just a few more seconds. Big squeeze. I know this one can get a little bit crampy through those glutes, but we're going to keep embracing the butt burn and keep pushing through this as strong as we can. About 6 more seconds before we lower down, and then we're going to repeat the hip lifts that we were doing. All right, we're down. We're going to do one more minute, rolling those hips up and rolling back down. So again, really pressing that lower back into the floor as we roll up each individual vertebrae, getting that nice squeeze in the glutes before rolling and returning back down to the center. Again, just making sure core is engaged, so we're really drawing that tummy in. And for your breathing, inhale as you lift up, take a nice inhale at the top, and then we're going to exhale as we roll back down. Really make sure you're pressing through your heels, you're keeping your knees open over your toes. Do not let your knees cave in, otherwise you will not feel your booty work. If you're feeling too much in your quads or in your lower back, you'll probably find you're not tucking your tailbone and your knees aren't open as wide as what we'd like. About 6 more seconds before we go for one more hold up of these ones. And let's hold. Keep pushing those hips up to the roof. Keep opening those knees as wide as we can over those toes. We're going to try and embrace this booty burn that's coming on and keep those hips pushing up. Don't let them drop. And don't forget to double check that those heels haven't slid away from you, keeping them in just where you can reach those fingers. And again, embracing that booty burn. Keep pushing those hips all the way up. And we're holding this here for a minute. Booty burn with these ones is always so intense. We get less than 30 seconds to go. Keep opening those knees, keep tucking that tailbone and getting those hips up as high to the ceiling as we can. We're going to go for just 10 more seconds. Big squeeze up, make sure core is on, glutes are squeezing for 3, 2, 1, and lowering back down. All right, we're gonna move on now to a different variation of a glute bridge. So just pausing for 30 seconds first and just have a look what I'm doing. So we're gonna come up, we're gonna add a small calf raise, and then we're gonna flatten and lower back down. Again, the goal is to one through those glutes. So we'll get going in about 8 seconds. All right, let's give it a go. So I'm going to scoop those hips up, keep those hips nice and high, calf raise, so coming up onto your toes. Then we're going to lower the heels and return back down. Repeating again, scoop, calf raise, flatten and lower. Now it's really important up at this top point of the movement that as we calf raise, don't let your hips drop. We're going to keep that tension through the glutes. I know it's tough, but try really hard. And we're doing these ones for a minute. So scoop, calf raise, and returning back down. Again, just watch that your feet don't slide away, and also watch that your knees don't cave in. We've got to keep those knees nice and open. We're nearly there. So when we get to the end of this minute, we're gonna hold this up. Keep going for about 7 more seconds. Keeping knees open, full scoop of that tailbone, and let's hold. So coming up, and these hold. So for these 45 seconds, we're gonna calf raise. So we're gonna come up to those toes and then flatten those heels. Now keep an eye on those hips. Make sure they don't drop. We're gonna constantly keep that booty working. So keeping those hips up as we calf raise. Working it hard for these 45 seconds. Don't let those hips drop, keep squeezing. For about 20 more seconds, we're nearly there. Ooh, that booty burn. Keeping those knees open over those toes. Keep that height of those hips, core on. So just 6 more seconds. And lowering back down. We're gonna do each of these two one more time, straight into it, and we'll rest after these two. So again, scoop, calf raise, lower back down. Our goal here is the booty, so make sure you're feeling your glutes. If you're not, just focusing on all the little things that I've already mentioned. Keeping those knees open and making sure that we're really scooping those hips up to the top. All right, we're gonna make it through this minute. We've got about 30 seconds to go before we do our final hold. Last 20 seconds. Keep getting those hips up high. Make sure those knees are open. Pelvis is tucked around. 10 seconds. All right, let's hold this up. 45 seconds, we can do this. Scoop, hold, and then we're gonna calf raise and flatten. Don't lose the height of those hips. Calf raise and flatten. Make sure those knees are still facing over those pinky toes. Heels are still in where we can reach those fingertips. And not letting these hips drop. Make sure core is on. All right, we're in our final 15 seconds. Then we can take a little breather. Last 10. My booty is on fire. 2 and 1. All right, let's lower down. 30 seconds to breathe. I'm gonna demonstrate the next one, so just keep an eye on me while you wait for these 30 seconds. Next one, we're gonna scoop back up into our glute bridge. We're gonna squeeze the knees together and lower back down on our glute bridges. Again, it's a scoop up, a squeeze, and a lower back down. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go for it. Scoop, squeeze the knees together, and returning back down. Squeeze up, squeeze in, and returning back down. So this variation should really start to get into your inner thighs now. So really warming up and waking up your adductors. Just make sure you keep that height of your hips. We're gonna keep squeezing up as high as we physically can. Our booty's gonna be nice and warmed up after these. Again, these ones we're just going for a minute, so we are already past the halfway mark of this interval. As we squeeze in and lower. All the same rules apply. Keeping those heels in where we can reach them and keeping those knees open as we scoop up. Don't let those hips drop as we go for that inner thigh squeeze in. All right, last 6 seconds. And yes, we're gonna do a mini hold with these ones. In 3, 2, 1, let's hold. Keeping those hips up, we're gonna squeeze in, release back out. Squeeze in and release. Don't lose the height of your hips. Don't allow that lower back to arch. So working these inner thighs now a little bit more, along with those booty muscles. It's a nice big squeeze in together through those knees. And again, now we should really be starting to feel those inner thighs warm up too. We've got about 15 more seconds, so keep pushing through. 10 seconds. 2 and 1. Let's lower back down. One more time through each of these two. We're nearly there. We're gonna scoop up, squeeze, and lower back down. Last minute of these. And remember, we should be feeling those inner thighs a little bit more now, not just those glutes. And as much as this burns, just keep focusing on all those goals that we're trying to achieve. There's always purpose behind this sweat and this hard work. Right, to our last 20 seconds of these. Keep pushing through for me. And just keep it nice and slow. We don't need to rush these. A nice steady pace that we can withhold. Get ready, we're gonna hold up in about 5 seconds. Our final hold of these ones. All right, let's hold, scoop it up. We're gonna pulse knees in and out. In, squeezing, and out. Keeping that height of those hips, try not to lose them. And we're going for a 45-second hold. Keep pushing your hips up. Keep these pulses nice and slow. Keep squeezing those heels down into the floor for about 15 more seconds. Nearly there. Keep pushing up through those heels. Tummy's tucking in nice and tight. The last second and returning back down. Well done on making it through that booty warm up. We're just gonna move on now and just warm up your abs. So for this, I'm gonna get you to bring your feet up to 90 degrees. We're gonna place our hands on the fronts of our thighs. Now it's really important here that we're not arched through the lower back. I want you to try and press that spine as flat to the floor as possible. Now just pushing your hands into your thighs, starting to create some tension through your abs, a little bit through that core. So really focus on tucking that tummy in and really sucking that belly button in, literally into the floor. All right, from there, we're gonna keep the tension between your left hand and your left leg. Make sure your knees don't pull in too close. Keep them on top of your hips. We're gonna extend the right leg out long. Take a big exhale as we bring it back in. We're just gonna stay all on that right side for now. So a big kick and a big exhale to bring that leg back into the center. Then inhale and exhale as it comes back in. Just gonna go for a few more of these. Now just watch that your lower back's not arching away from the floor. So if you feel like it's starting to arch away, or you're really struggling to hold it flat, or you're feeling lower back pain, just simply do this with your left leg down on the floor. And as I always say, no lower back pain is allowed. So if you do feel any lower back pain, just simply regress this exercise. Otherwise, if you can, keeping that knee up at 90 degrees. But if you can, holding that leg up, keeping a bit of tension between that left leg and that left thigh. Now we're gonna hold that right leg out. So we're gonna try really hard to hold. We're gonna keep tension down that right thigh so that quad is activating. We're pressing spine into the floor, tucking that tummy in as tight as we can. Keep holding, make sure there's no gap. Again, you can do this with left leg on the floor, but if you can, I want you to try really hard to hold Take a big exhale, bring that leg back in. Changing hands, we're gonna place right hand on the right thigh. We're gonna kick left leg out long. Big exhale as you bring that leg back into the center. Again, it's an inhale as we extend and an exhale as we return that leg back in. Make sure you maintain that spine pressing down into the floor. Inhale as you kick, exhale as you return that leg back into the center. Maintain tension between your right hand and your right leg and make sure that your knee stays aligned directly on top of your hip. If you need, we can place that right leg down on the floor. But if you can, we're gonna try and hold that knee up directly on top of your hip. Only a few more left on this leg now. Inhale as we kick, exhale as it comes back in. So we're focusing on just warming up that core now. Hold, so let's hold this leg out straight. Tension down that left thigh, pressing spine flat to the floor, drawing that tummy in, and hopefully feeling a bit of tension down that core, so we're warming it up. Big exhale to bring it back into the center. Just place those legs down for a moment. Take a nice big stretch out above head with your arms, out long with your legs, and we're just gonna repeat this one more time. Bringing everything back into the center, we're gonna now bring our knees up to 90 degrees. Placing your hands on the fronts of your legs, we're gonna create a bit of tension. Keeping tension between your left hand and your left leg, we're gonna extend our right leg out long. Big exhale as we return that leg back into the center. Again, inhale as we extend, big exhale as that leg returns back into the center. Make sure we're keeping that spine nice and flat to the floor the entire time. Again, if you need, you get any lower back pain or you're struggling to keep the spine flat, simply pop that left leg flat to the floor. Just make sure that you got a no gap between that spine and the floor. Pretty much can't fit your fingers between your lower back and the floor. All right, let's go for a hold on the next one. So we're gonna hold this one out, tension down the right thigh. We're gonna squeeze really, really tight. Make sure that we've got that nice flat spine. We're gonna hold, tension down this thigh, no soft bends. Lock that knee tight, it's good practice. Big exhale, let's bring that right leg back in. Other legs turn. Inhale as we kick, exhale as you bring it back in. Keeping spine flat, tummy muscle tucking in. And just focusing now on keeping tension through that core. Waking up and open up our core. And inhale as we kick, exhale as we bring it back in. Make sure the spine's flat, make sure it's not arching. Let's hold the next one out. Ready? And hold. Tension down the left thigh, spine pressing flat to the floor. Tummy tucking in as tight as we can. And we're gonna hold as strong as we can. Working these core muscles hard, keeping tension again down your thigh. Relaxing through your shoulders as well. Make sure your shoulders aren't up towards your ears. We don't want the tension in your neck. We want it down through that core. All right, big exhale. Let's bring the leg back in and just return those feet back down to the center. Just one more big stretch out. So reach those arms out above head, feet nice and long. Give it a nice big stretch. And then we'll take a couple seconds to breathe before we move on to our conditioning exercises. For the first part of today's leg workout, we're going to be needing a chair. Standing next to your chair, I want you to squeeze your right leg as straight as you can. So there's literally no soft micro bends whatsoever. I want you to squeeze, creating tension down the right thigh. Same with our standing leg as well. So we're going to really tense that thigh muscle, that quad as hard as we can. And we're going to go for 10 forward leg lifts together. So first one, we're going to squeeze, lift, hold for a second, and then returning back down to the center. Again, tension down your legs, lifting as high as we can before returning back down. Lifting up for number 3, squeeze, hold, lower back down again. Now really watch your bottom leg. Make sure that you don't cave through your bottom leg. Keep strong, keep tall, squeeze, and returning back down. We're keeping these ones nice and slow, going for 5, hold, and return back down. We've got 5 more. Big exhale as you lift and lower back down. Now, as I'm lifting, just before we get on to the next one, make sure that you don't just tuck your tailbone under. So going for number 6 together, Keep that spine tall and strong. We're not tucking under and we're not caving, lowering back down. All right, just a few more. Number 7, exhale, lift and hold, and lower back down. We have 3 more. 8. Big exhale as you lift, hold strong, 9. And we're gonna hold this next one up because I'm a little bit mean, okay? Ready? Hold strong, don't let it drop. Squeeze both that lifted leg and that standing leg, core on nice and strong. And then returning back down to the center. Whew. All right, let's do a slightly different now. So same leg, I'm now gonna take my right leg out on more of a 45-degree angle. And we're gonna go for 10 lifts up on that angle. Strong on your standing leg, so make sure your glute and your thigh muscle is squeezed. Core is on, and we're not gonna let that pelvis tuck under. We're gonna hold that nice neutral spine. Also squeezing down my right thigh. As we lift out on that slight 45-degree angle, hold and lower down. We're gonna keep this slow. Number 2, lift and lower. Now only come as high as you can hold your form. Form is very important with this one. Remember, I'm creating tension down my thigh. Don't lose that squeeze. All right, let's lift number 4. Big exhale as we lift, hold, and return back down. Let's go for number 5. Squeeze, and lower. Number 6, just think how amazing our inverts are gonna be. All those lines up when we're dancing. Big exhale, lift for 7, hold, and lower. We got 3 more. 8. Final 2, keeping strong. All right, next one's our hold. Are we ready? Number 10, lift, hold. Squeeze down your thigh, keep holding. Tummy's tucking in. Squeeze your thigh so hard that it hurts tomorrow. Keep lifting. And lower back down. All right, we're gonna repeat these on the other leg. So we're gonna start again first with our straight leg out in front. Remember, you have to activate down those thighs. So we're gonna create some tension down those legs, especially down that standing leg. Exhale, lift as high as you can, and then lowering back down. Make sure you got tension down that thigh. Squeeze, lift for number 2, and returning back down. Hold strong in that standing leg. Number 3, and lower. Number 4, nearly there. Number 5, and 6, and you might find there's one leg that's way stronger than the other. This definitely isn't my stronger one. 7, 3 more, 8, final 2, big exhale as we lift, and then we're gonna hold this one up. Ready? Hold, squeezing strong. Don't cave through the bottom leg. Keep that tummy tucking in tight. Keep squeezing down your left thigh and lowering back down. Woo, those ones are hard work. All right, let's move on now to our 45-degree angle with these ones. So we're gonna create tension down the thigh. Keep that core tucking in. Tension down the standing thigh, as well as squeezing that glute. Big exhale as we lift up on that 45-degree angle. Slowly lower back down. And remember, we're going for 10. So number 2, make sure there's no soft bends. I don't want that. Squeeze it and return back down. Number 3. Lowering down, getting ready for 4. Keeping that core on. Make sure that pelvis doesn't tuck under. Number 5. Big exhale as we lift for 6. 7. Keeping that core on. 8. Lifting as high as we can hold that form. 9. Last one, let's hold. And returning back down. Well done, those ones are hard work. For this next part of your conditioning workout, we can get rid of the chair. Starting first with the variation on a burpee. We're gonna reach our hands up long, bring the hands to the floor, jump out, in, reach. Out, in, reach. And we're going for 1 minute. Now, if you're struggling to add the jumps, we can simply step and reach. But if we can, jump. Try to keep your butt down low. Out to a full tall plank. I also like to land my legs nice and wide with these ones. Nearly there, 5 seconds. All right, moving on. We're gonna come back up to our feet and we're gonna come into a little squat lunge combo. So we're gonna squat, lunge back. Now we're gonna stay all on this right leg the whole time. So don't change sides on me just yet. Staying low. Hope you can really feel that booty burn through that left side. Few more seconds. Final 10. Keeping shoulders down and back, chest nice and tall. All right, let's change legs. Same thing again. We're gonna keep chest tall. We're gonna squat, lunge back. Keep going. Now we want to try and keep the knee on this front foot nice and wide. Don't let it cave in. Staying low, and we can keep these quite slow. No need to rush. Final 10 seconds of these. All right, let's move back to our burpees. Reaching arms up, hands down, and jumping in and out. Again, we don't need to rush them. We can keep these quite slow, and if you need, we can step instead. Now with these ones, I land my feet wide here because it's a bit easier as we stretch those arms up. All right, let's keep going. We're nearly through this interval. We've only got 2 rounds of these ones, so this is your last lot of burpees for today, I pinky promise. Less than 10 seconds to go. 3, 2, last big reach, 1. All right, we're gonna go back to our squat lunge combo. So we're gonna squat, lunge it back. Make sure this knee stays open, and then squat. Challenge yourself by getting as low as you can. This interval is only 45 seconds. Last time for these ones on this leg. Keep shoulders down and back, chest tall. Watch you don't start to round. Ooh, this leg is on fire. All right, well done. Let's get ready to go back to that other side. So last time on this other leg. Whew. This is puffing me out. Squat, lunge, making sure that knee stays open over your toes, and then back to your squat. Keeping strong, keeping shoulders down and back, and as low as you can to truly challenge yourself. Final 10 seconds and this exercise is over for today. 3 and 1. All right, you got 30 seconds to rest, and then we're gonna move on to our next 2 exercises. All right, 10 more seconds and we're gonna move on to a squat and press. All right, let's go for it. So we're gonna squat down, reach those hands up above head. Squat, reach. Now as I come down, I'm keeping my knees open and I'm not rounding my chest. Keeping shoulders down and back, chest up nice and tall. Reaching those arms up as high as we can. Just aiming to get through 1 minute of these. My legs are on fire. We got 30 more seconds to go before moving on to our second exercise for this set. Again, keeping knees open, shoulders down and back, really sinking the weight into those heels. So I don't want knees coming forward onto your toes. Sink that weight back. Last few seconds. Last 10. Again, keep chest tall as we squat low. And just making sure knees are facing open over those toes. All right, we're gonna move on now, 45 seconds. I'll stand to the side for you first. We're gonna have a little mini squat and also we hinge forward. From there, we're gonna tap the right leg out to the side, bring it in, tap it out behind. Out to the side and behind. Now all your weight should be in that standing leg. You should be focusing on a nice open knee, so don't let that knee cave in. Keep it open as we tap to the side, tap behind. Just a few more seconds, try to stay low. The lower you get, the more challenging this one is. Just your last 5 seconds on this side before we swap. All right, let's change sides. So now I'm gonna add a soft mini like quarter squat down. Soft bend at the knee, hinging forward, making sure my right knee stays open over the toes. We tap to the side, tap behind. And I'm really thinking about sticking my booty behind. Shoulders squeezing back the entire time. And again, all my weight should be in this standing leg. I shouldn't be using that left leg. Squeezing that right booty as hard as we can for just a few more seconds. Final 10 seconds. Holding strong through that butt. For 5, 2, and 1. Well done. We're gonna repeat these ones just one more time, then they're over with. So we're gonna squat, keep knees open, reach those arms out above head as high as we can. Knees open, reach out above head. Again, just working as hard as we can. Now as I come up through my squat, I'm really focusing on not pulling up through my back. I want to scoop, so squeeze, scoop, and really feel that squeeze at the top. So down, reach out above head. Let's keep going. Nearly there in our final 30 seconds of these squats. Keep getting low. Don't just round your chest. Drop your booty low, keep your chest tall. Nearly there in our final 20 seconds. These ones are nearly over with. Keeping knees as open over those little toes as we can. Last 10 seconds. Three seconds. All right, our squats are over with. Just these little balancy ones now. So we get our quarter squat, hinging forward at the hips. We're gonna tap right leg out, not putting the weight through that leg. Keeping weight in the left, bring it in. Tap it out behind. Squeeze that leg as straight as you can. So we got nice straight lines. And working hard through that left butt. So to keep that butt on, make sure this knee doesn't cave in because it won't work. Keep that knee facing out over your pinky toe the whole time. Keep an eye on that. It's a really important part of this exercise. And shoulders squeezing back. Don't round forward, squeeze them back. We're in our last 7 seconds. Keep holding strong. And we made it. All right, let's do this other leg. 45 seconds, squat down, hinging forward at your hips. We're gonna squeeze out and back. You can tell this is my least unbalanced side. Keeping that knee nice and open over those little toes and squeeze down that thigh. Nearly there. Keep pointing that toe too. Last 20 seconds on this side. We're so close now. Last 11, 10, so close. Keep holding this knee open over your toe, keeping those shoulders down and back. Keep trying to breathe. 2 and 1. Well done. Now you can take a breather. All we're gonna do now is just come back down to the floor, back down to the mat. Just complete a few core exercises to finish the workout off. But well done so far. To finish today's workout off, we're just gonna do a couple of core exercises. So we're gonna begin first just lying on your back with one of my personal favorites, the reverse crunch. So this one, palms should be facing up to the roof and shoulders should be pulling down away from your ears. We're gonna bring our feet up to the 90-degree spot and we're gonna try not to use momentum here. So we're gonna just try and control the lift and slowly lower down. And big exhale as we lift and slowly lower down. So I'm gonna try and aim for about 15 of these. So if you can, just keeping at my pace. And again, we're trying not to just flick those legs up. That's using momentum. We're gonna lift and lower down. Big exhale up. To be honest, your legs might feel a lot heavier right now than your actual abs, considering all the work we've just done, but really working hard to keep tummy tucking in as tight as we can. Now with these ones, I like to exhale as I lift up and inhale as I lower down. With all my talking, I've totally lost count of how many we've done. So let's aim for 2 more on the exhale, lift, and then 1 more big exhale, lift, and lowering down. The second one I wanted to do today is a little bit of a challenge. This one targets more your obliques. So I'm gonna get you to bring your hands out to the side and we're gonna dual one side first. So I'm gonna lift my left hand and right leg up together. And I'm gonna use my right hand for a little bit of support. So I'm gonna do a big lift, try and tap, lower back down. Now with this one, I'm trying to really roll, so really articulate my spine as I come up, tap, and lower back down. Again, we're just gonna stay all on this one side first, really roll up the spine and down. Now I know our quads are tired, but we're gonna keep the tension down those thighs. No sloppy, soft bends through those knees. Big exhale as we lift, tap, and rolling back down. Just a couple more in, lift. I am using my right hand a little bit for support, but I'm trying not to push completely through that arm. Trying to use those abs to roll as much as I can. Let's do 1 more on this side. Big exhale, tap, and down. Well done. All right, let's do the other side. Taking right arm to left leg, lift, and lower back down. Now with these ones, you'll probably notice that you do have one side that's a lot stronger than the other. This is definitely not my stronger side, but we're still gonna give it as much effort as we did the other side. Tension down that left thigh. Let's try to get both sides nice and even. And again, rolling up the spine as we come up. Same thing on the way down. Roll down each individual vertebrae. Nearly there. Exhale, lift. And then just a few more in. Last 2 taps. And last one. All right, just 1 more time through each of these 2, then we're done. So we're gonna bring those feet back up to 90 degrees and get ready for those reverse crunches again. Palms facing up to the roof, shoulders down, relaxed and relaxed. So down away from those ears, feet up to 90 degrees. Exhale, lift and lower down. Hopefully we're starting to feel it through those core muscles now. The second time round, and no momentum. Don't flick those legs into it, keep them bent. Exhale, lift, lowering back down. We're gonna do 1 more together. Ready, big exhale, lift, and then we'll gently lower those feet back down to the floor. Our last ones, getting into those obliques, all those side abs. Hands out to the side, legs nice and straight. We're gonna start with left arm, right leg. Exhale, lift, tap, lower down. Let's do that side again. Keep tension down that right thigh. Use that right hand as you need, but try not to rely on it. Rolling down and rolling up. So really articulating that spine. And remember earlier how I spoke about pressing your lower back into the floor? Same thing here. Press spine down, roll, tap, and lowering back down. Just a few more. Two more. Exhale on that lift. Let's try one more. Now don't stress if you're not getting up as high as me. Just work to your current ability. Let's try the other side. Rolling up each individual vertebrae, tap, and lower down. This is our last exercise for today, so let's give it our best effort. Again, squeeze those thighs, roll up the spine. This one's a good challenge, so don't stress if you're struggling with this one at first. Stick with it, it will get easier. And if you can't reach to your toe, don't stress. Just aim even just for your knee. Nearly there. Just gonna make sure we finish both sides nice and even. We got about 4 more on this leg. Just those last 3. And last one. Oh, well done. Well done on completing today's workout. It was definitely a challenging one. I'm definitely sweaty, if you can't see it. Definitely feeling a bit sweaty. But if you did enjoy this workout, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below, and also let me know if you have any questions regarding any of the exercises, or if you have any requests for future videos, whether it be more workouts, more pole dancing tutorials, just vlogs, or whatever it is you're interested in. Let me know in the comments below or send me a message. And again, please like my video and subscribe to my channel so that I can keep bringing you more videos. Thanks.